Now, level 1.4. So things are still obvious, but not especially obvious like the earlier levels. Now, so this one is factoring by grouping. Okay, so we're saying, hey, look at the first two terms. And look at the last two terms as a group. Can you go ahead and factor them? And we say, yeah, look at the first one. Okay, what's common in the first two terms? 3a squared, right? If you take out the 3a squared, we say what's left? Good, 4a minus 3, yes, okay. And then for the last two terms, well, that doesn't seem anything that's factorable. So we're just gonna go ahead and write it. Okay, not every time it's so nice and easy, right? So sometimes it's even easier. You don't have to do anything. Do you see any common factor here? You see that it's 4a minus 3. So what does that mean? You can take out the 4a minus 3. Make sure you use parentheses. And what's left? We say 3a squared plus 1. Now, this one may take a little bit of understanding. Look at this as a factor. Imagine that there's a 1 sitting in the front of it. So therefore, you have to have 3a squared plus 1. Now, what happens if you don't write the plus 1 right here? What happens if you don't write the plus 1? Well, you can multiply back in and you don't get the same thing. So that's why you've got to have the plus 1. Okay? And now, here's another thing I want to highlight here. Did you put equal sign on your paper? Did you? It's a crime if you don't. All right, it's a crime if you don't put equal signs, because if you're not putting equal signs, it's like you're writing a sentence without capitalizing your first letter. It's ugly. And people understand it, but it's ugly. All right, number 20. Okay, now if you are getting what's going on, you are more than welcome to move ahead. All right. So look at the first two terms. What's the same? We say x squared is the same, right? So 3x minus 4. And then the next one, it's taking out the 3. 3 is the same common factor. So you have 3x minus 4. Hey, can't you see something in common? You say, yeah. 3x minus 4 is common. So therefore, we will take it out. And then we have this factored. How many of you felt like, wow, it was not hard at all? Okay. How many of you see the contrast? Like, oh, I thought it was hard, but it's not really that hard. All right. Now, a part of it is could be my introduction, but the other part of it is that you are now older than your algebra 1 self. So therefore, you are able to see things better, which is a good thing. That's a sign of showing you becoming more mature. Number 21. Ooh, I forgot to put a dot right there. Number 21. M squared would be the common factor, the first two, and then m minus 1. And then for the second one, you take out the 2, and then you have m minus 1. So m minus 1 times m squared plus 2. All right. How many of you think that this is extremely easy? Okay, wonderful, wonderful. You're not going to miss it if I give you a quiz tomorrow, right? If. But it could be a real if. Could be. All right. What's common for the first two terms here? 4x, right? Now, you always want to get the most out of it, okay? If you don't get the most out of it, it's just kind of pain in the butt at the end. It hurts you right now, but this one got to be a little bit careful. So you got 4x taken out, so you have what's left? 3y minus 7. What is common for the next two terms? How much? 5, yes, but actually we'll take out -5. Now, if you just take out the 5, you can't really take out the 5 because you have a minus right here. So you are, by default, taking out the -5. And now, what's left inside? 3y minus 7. And why is it minus here? To make it positive, right? It was a positive here. So you've got to have a negative in order to give it a positive number. So therefore now you're like, hey, I see a common factor. Okay. That's a common factor. 3y minus 7 is a common factor. We just take it out and then you write down what's left. So now if you see all the examples right here, what you're seeing is that now you are changing, you're upgrading your vision, okay? You're upgrading your vision to the point that you're saying, oh yeah, I see the parentheses, all right? But it is still like a thing. And with the thing, it's common. You always factor it out, okay? And let's quickly do the last two. For the first two terms, the common factor would be p squared, which is 2p plus 5. And then the last, oh, wait, hold on. The last one, oh yeah, the last one will be the common factor 3. So p plus, 2p plus 5. Now, if you're smart, if you know that we're doing factoring by grouping, I mean, if you did the first one correctly, you can sort of predict that the second one should have a parentheses that have the same thing. If they are somewhat different, you can double check yourself, okay? And then you see what's common. What's common, it's here, 2p plus 5. So you take that common factor out. So you have p squared plus 3. And then do the same thing right here. So you have what's common, 4x squared. So this is 3x plus 1. And then you have 3x plus 1 again. So what's common factor? 3x plus 1. All right. So you can see factoring by grouping, it's so easy, right? It is so easy. Okay. If you can see the common factor, it is so easy.